Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at optimistic.tv as well.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining Samantha and I today. And we thought we would chat a little bit about what Samantha just so beautifully termed as the disillusionment of our idols. And I like the way you put that, Samantha. And this came up for me for a variety of reasons, but I think it's a really good topic to talk about because I think that many of us, when we have a teacher or a healer or even a musician that we look up to, we expect them to be perfect. We expect them, because they are teaching something, to always be living up to that level and put them on that pedestal. And we don't allow them to be human and make mistakes. And I think it's important to really understand we're all going to make mistakes. And there's not a single one of us who's a healer or a teacher that isn't working on their own healing and their own teaching.
It's so important because there are two sides of the spectrum that I'm seeing when we idolize our idols and we put people in guru or godlike status. Because on one end is they can do no wrong, right? And that's where this cult mentality comes in, where they're perfect and we need to worship them. And even if they say something that makes no freaking sense at all, or that's so backwards, oh, well, we don't question because they are the guru. There's that side, the fanatic side. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum is where we hold these people to such high standards as if they were gods, that when they do something that is not godlike, we forget that they're human and we penalize them for these fallen angels that have, gone to hell for getting drunk at a party. And I feel like a lot of celebrities do have that pressure on them, and a lot of these people that we look up to. I know we're just talking about Nako Bear, and it's interesting, for us to see that as a culture, how we idolize and how we become enchanted with these people that have many followers, thinking that, because they're in the spotlight, or, because they're this public figure, that they're this thing to be worshipped. And that's what causes us suffering, really.
Oh, yeah. And in both of those ways that you described, it never works out in our favor when we do either one of those things. It's so important that we always think for ourselves, no matter who is saying it. Always look at it for yourself and see if that resonates with what you believe inside. It doesn't matter who's saying it. It could be someone that you would think wouldn't have any knowledge or understanding, somebody that looked maybe even dirty or stinky or whatever, and you didn't want to sit next to them but had to. And all of a sudden you had this amazing conversation and they taught you something. And if you were to have quickly judged and walked away and got up and sat somewhere else, you wouldn't have gotten to learn that beautiful lesson. And so I think it's just really important to always be open to all the things we hear and to really think for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I know everybody listening to this, or most people know, that you can't really believe everything that you see on the news, especially. You can't believe all of the headlines or articles that are passed around on social media. There is so much false news out there, and there's so many things that are just he said, she said, hearsay. And, for example, and I'm going to use this example, and it's taboo, but whatever, I'm going to use it. So say two people engage in sexual intercourse, okay? And they were both a little bit drunk. They were at a party. They were in the vibe. They did it. It's both consensual. And then afterwards, the man doesn't call the woman, doesn't answer her calls, kind of ghosts her. And then she is very upset. She feels very hurt. She feels used. So she retaliates by saying that it was not consensual and that he raped her. And this, especially amongst celebrities or amongst people who are in the public eye, happens a lot. And it actually happens a lot to men. And so then there's this big case, and then she writes these articles and goes on TV and makes these videos, and it gets passed around. And now everybody thinks, oh, well, because I read it online, this person's a rapist. And that's dangerous, right? Because this situation has happened, it does happen, and it will happen. And I'm not saying that all cases are like this. However, there are many that are. And so it is important for us to discern and do research and not just blindly believe every headline that we see.
Sure. And also looking at the whole picture. When I look at celebrities, especially, and I see the kind of lifestyle that they live, and then I compare them to, just say it's a man, any regular man, any just everyday guy. And I put that regular guy in that situation and have that guy being tossed all these beautiful women, and they're just like, here you go, here you go. How often is that guy going to be able to say no? This is a lot of its nature. Our sexual drive and desire is a very natural thing. And so when it's being offered to you, it is kind of difficult, I think, to say no. Well, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
But also, too, when you think about a person's background and how they grew up and how they even came into this world, and so much trauma that exists in so many people, whether it's in their energetic body or their spiritual body, that affects how they function. And even if they are somebody who you put on a pedestal, you got to remember they have their shit too, and they're coming from that and trying to overcome it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's amazing too, how people that are in the public eye, there's dirt that's dug up on them from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and then they're made to be publicly shamed and demonized. And I think to myself, wow, there are definitely people that could dig up quite a bit of dirt on me from
exactly. That's what I think too.
And I could be painted in a really bad picture and a really bad light. However, people do change. They grow, they learn, they evolve, they transcend. We are completely different human beings than we were 10 years ago if we've gone through that work. And so I think too, we just hold people to such an insane standard. Yes. And we imprison people by our judgments and our expectations and our righteous beliefs. And it's really what causes wars. It's just such a negative, toxic, viral pattern that's programmed into the collective.
Yes, that's very, very, very well said. Those expectations, we can't expect people to be perfect. None of us are. None of us are. If we could just let go of all those judgments and just let people to go through their own process, because we're here because we're going through our process. We're here because we're all learning.
Yeah. And
there's not a single one of us that isn't.
You're so right. And the more that we judge others, it's just a reflection of how much we judge ourselves. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I'll speak for myself. When I actively, and I am no means perfect at this at all, but when I actively decided that I was going to be more compassionate and less judgmental to others, I eased up how hard I was on myself. Mm-hmm. And I started to notice, when I became aware, how judgmental I was of this person's driving, that person's skirt, how that person's talking to her child, how that person's holding his fork, what time this person goes to bed at, what this person does to their whatever. I was judging everything. And every single judgment I make is a negative stab outwards and a negative stab inwards. And then I realized, wow, I'm filled with all of these negative thoughts about the world and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And how can I be in my highest alignment and in my highest vibration, which is where I want to be, if I'm constantly feeding myself toxic thoughts?
Totally. And, we all want to just be, right? Don't we all just want to be? And so if we can allow others to just be and allow them to be on their path, we ease up on ourselves, we ease up on everyone, And this was one of my first main steps, I feel like, that's not trying to be non-judgmental along my path. I went to see an energy healer years ago because I couldn't handle the fact that I was judging people so much. And she sat me down and she was like, well, where do you feel this in your body? And I heard in my head, your face. But I said, I don't know. And then she laid me, we do that. We hear it and then we say, I don't know. We don't want to actually say it out loud. So she laid me down on the table and started working on me. Immediately, my entire face started vibrating, that intense energy. And it was very clear to me that this was all about me. This is my face, what I'm showing to the world. That's why I'm judging people, right? And so very valuable lesson. This is all written on your face, your judgments. Yeah.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our new sponsor, KiwiCo. With everything going on in the world, there are more kids than ever learning at home these days. And KiwiCo can basically deliver a science fair right to their door. KiwiCo has an incredible amount of highly creative, do-it-yourself projects for all age ranges. As a huge music fan since about 12 years old, I personally would have loved building the real working light-up speaker and headphones when I was just starting to jam out. As a parent now of a grown-up kid, I wish I had had something like KiwiCo when my son was small, because I remember how hard it can be to find creative and new things to keep him busy and challenged on his own or to tackle together. And not only do they have different crates for kids of all ages, but they send one every month. Now, of course, there's no commitment and you can pause or cancel anytime you like. KiwiCo truly is redefining play with hands-on projects that build confidence, creativity, and critical thinking skills. They have something for every kid or kid at heart. And the best part is all UP heads can get your first month free on select crates at kiwico.com/positivehead. That's KIWICO.com/positivehead.
Yeah, that's so fun. I had a session with an energy healer this week, and again around digestion. And she tapped in, and it was an Akashic Records reading, energy healing. And she said, "Wow, this is very deep. It's very deeply hidden inside of you." And she goes, "You had an agreement with kind of like a negative spirit to take on people's negativity because you wanted to help and you wanted to be a healer and help people heal." But instead of you working with universal love, you decided to suck their negative energy up, and you can't digest that negative energy because it doesn't work with your body. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't belong to you.
It makes sense. It doesn't belong to me. And so you can't digest it. What your body doesn't recognize, it won't take. Yeah, it's just so fascinating to really get to see that mirror again, like what we're seeing on the outside, what we're projecting outwards, what's happening in our bodies. It's all connected.
Yeah, and I also want to add to that story is I used to have awful acne, like bad. And so of course it came out on my face. All that toxicity was coming out on my face. And that's the only place I broke out.
Wow.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our bodies are so amazing.
Yes.
Our bodies are so amazing. And something I'm thinking about as we're speaking about this, and I was just speaking to my partner about this at dinner, is this word that keeps coming up over the last month, and especially this last week, is compassion. And I heard what that word was, but I didn't really know, embody it until more recently in my life. And I feel like that's truly the key. Truly the key to everything, to deal with everything and to navigate everything from Corona to political movements to crazy politics, to what's going on with your neighbor, to the driver next to you on the highway, to what's going on in your body, is deep compassion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the key, Samantha. It's so true. And I think I'm so glad you just brought that up, because that's how we can be at ease with letting everybody be. And, the mantra for that, everybody knows, and I'm not sure if everybody knows that this is the mantra for all sentient beings, to have deep love and compassion, but Om Mani Padme Hum. So if ever you're having a hard time with this judgment, whether it's self-judgment or judging of others, or the politics, or the world at large, or even in your personal relationships, you can just say that mantra to yourself, and the energy of it will help you, because there's a very, very high vibrational energy in that.
Will you say it again slowly?
Om Mani Padme Hum. Yes, and you can Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum. That's lovely.
Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah, and actually now there's a song that is called Om Mani Padme Hum that I'm going to be playing for us at the end of today's show, because I think that's perfect, obviously. So thank you for bringing this up.
It is. And I just had Indian food for dinner, which is tied in with Ayurvedic and the Vedas and the Oms, and it all is connected.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're sending out a lot of compassion to the world today. A lot of compassion. We can all judge each other a whole lot less. We all need that right now. We can take every person that we put on a pedestal and take them right off and stick them at our level. We are all one. We're all in this together. There's no one above you. There's no one below you. There's no one better than you. There is no one less than you. All one. Yes.
Aho. Erica's wisdom bombs. Hashtag. Can somebody retweet that? Can somebody get Erica on the twits, on the Twitty tweets? Hashtag Erica's wisdom bombs.
And that's my grandpa's wisdom bomb in there too. I added it. I can't take full credit for that one.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thanks for making me smile. That's the other thing. Whenever you're down, whenever things are tough, just give yourself a laugh. Just lighten it with a laugh. I think it's so important.
It's the easiest way to feel better. We're going to make all those neurochemicals too when you do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for making me feel better. And all of you listeners out there, how can you be a little bit more compassionate towards yourself and others, be loving, forgiving, accepting, surrendered, and how do you contribute to the healing of this wild, wild, beautiful planet? We love you. We need you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, indeedy. And I'm going to play you this beautiful song by Martinico and DJ Drez, Om Mani Padme Hum. Until next time, love you all.
Love you.
Also, before we cue up today's song, I wanted to remind you about the game with the universe on our website, where you can choose the first number that comes to your mind and it'll pull up that episode number of the podcast. I've been saying this is a great way to co-create synchronicity and magic with your higher self for quite some time. And if you go to positivehead.com/universe, there is a super fun and simple interface to play this game with your higher self. I firmly believe just by setting the intention to play in this way, it opens up the door for magic, and it's a synchronistic way to hone in on nuggets of wisdom out of the huge catalog of episodes that are specifically appropriate for you at this time in your journey to becoming the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. And it also makes for a super fun way to spark the curiosity of friends and family by having them choose a number, so they'll hopefully go and check out their number as well, which I greatly appreciate because it helps us to spread the word about the podcast. Once again, the address is positivehead.com/universe. And as a quick reminder, if you're curious to learn more about Purium superfoods and why I take them almost every day, be sure to also check out positivehead.com/transformation. On this journey of becoming the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves that we have all embarked upon, I cannot stress the importance of managing your physical vibration enough. And quite honestly, Purium has put together the simplest plan I've found to do so. I have my favorite, the appleberry shake, at least 5 times a week. Once again, to learn more about the Purium transformation, go to positivehead.com/transformation. Or if you want to keep it simple and just try out my favorite, the appleberry shake, you can go straight over to ishoppurium.com and be sure to use code positivehead for 25% off. I'll spell that for you. It's ishoppurium.com, and be sure to use your positivehead 25% coupon code.
honey pot man.